The 24/7 Temper Shield. Enjoy greater comfort with lower utility bills. The sun. Its radiant energy is the source of all life. But what brings life also endangers it. Ancient man and modern man share the same needs. The need to gather and conserve heat to warm them in the winter, and the need to shield them from the burning heat in the summer. Ancient man had little protection to deal with the changing of the seasons. Modern man, through technology, can expose himself to greater extremes of heat and cold like never before. Like his ancestors, modern man has learned to use this technology to protect himself from these extremes. To allow man to explore space, scientists had to help him withstand both the sub-zero temperature of the vacuum of space and the searing friction of induced heat. They knew that heat transfers three ways: by convection, the rising of hot air; by conduction, the direct contact of a hot object with a cold one; and by radiation, the propagating of waves of radiant heat. The sun, the earth, and even the human body all emit radiant heat. Logic told scientists that man could survive in space in relative comfort if they could shield both their astronauts from the intense heat of direct sunlight and from the scorching heat of re-entry. They also needed a way to keep their astronauts alive when their spacecraft traveled away from the sun into the Earth's shadow, where temperatures plunged several hundreds of degrees below zero. To insulate the spacecraft or its passengers by traditional means would require layers of material many feet thick, something impossible to do in a weight-conscious spacecraft. Their answer was paper-thin layers of reflective material, much like aluminum foil, surrounding the spacecraft and its passengers. This reflective material protected astronauts from the scorching heat of direct sunlight by reflecting heat away from the spacecraft. In addition, the unbearable freezing cold of outer space was kept at bay by the foil's ability to trap the astronaut's body heat and to keep it from escaping into the unbelievable coldness of outer space. It even shielded them from the fiery heat of re-entry. It was truly amazing that something so effective could be so lightweight and low cost. The idea of using layers of reflective material has been proven to be equally useful on Earth. Everyone, it seems, wants to protect their dwelling to retain heat in the winter and resist heat in the summer, as well as save them money in the process. We have long recognized the value of insulation and slowing heat transfer. The cost, though, usually prevents builders from using enough material to stop heat transfer altogether. In any case, insulation slows the conduction of heat from warm attic air to the room below, but does almost nothing to slow the flow of radiant heat. Your roof radiates solar-generated heat to the insulation below it. The insulation absorbs the heat and gradually transfers it to the material it touches, principally the ceiling. This heat transfer makes your air conditioner run longer and consume more electricity. Tests by the Florida Solar Energy Center show that 93% of the sun's radiant heat gradually passes through a home ceiling to its interior. Recently, some builders have begun using a reflective material to prevent this radiation from entering. Unfortunately, many do not, and others only apply it to the interior walls of their home, leaving their roof, the greatest source of radiant heat gain and heat loss, completely unprotected. Still other homes predated the space program and simply couldn't employ this inexpensive, simple, yet amazingly effective technology until now. The 24/7 Temper Shield, produced by Utility Improvement Incorporated. This amazing building material has brought space-age technology down to Earth and put it to work in America's homes. Adapted from NASA's lightweight space-age reflective material, Temper Shield is a strong, tough enough to walk on, 5-layer heat-blocking product, well suited for the rigorous abuse of home installation. We've laminated and bonded 2 layers of ultra-pure aluminum sheeting with a reinforced inner layer of polyethylene woven fabric, creating a strong, lightweight membrane. Just as NASA's reflective material protected our astronauts from the extreme temperatures of outer space, Temper Shield guards your home by reflecting unwanted radiant heat away from the house in the summer. And, just as importantly, in winter, our Temper Shield stops the heat you would normally lose, trapping desirable heat and keeping it from escaping through the ceiling. Temper Shield can easily be installed in any home, old or new. The 48-inch wide sheeting is simply rolled into place and can easily be cut to accommodate obstacles. Most importantly, it works. Temper Shield reflects radiant heat energy instead of trying to absorb it. In tests conducted in Tennessee, Florida, Illinois, and Texas, a single layer laid over existing R19 insulation reduced heat transfer to the buildings in summer by 39 to 80% and reduced heat loss in winter by 23 to 50%. What this means to the homeowner is an average reduction of 22 to 47% in heating and cooling costs. If you're depending on traditional forms of insulation alone to insulate against heat gain and loss, you're losing half the battle. For personal comfort and financial security, your home needs to be under the protection of Temper Shield. Shield yourself from the high cost of heating and cooling your home. Retrofit your home with Temper Shield today. You'll feel the difference, and so will your bank account. The 24/7 Temper Shield. Enjoy greater comfort with lower utility bills. Why should you have the revolutionary 24/7 Temper Shield installed in your home? Just listen to these amazing results.
We're watching 10 TV Eyewitness News with Kurt Ludlow and Helen Neal, meteorologist Jim Adams Weather, and Jay Crawford Sports. This is WBNS-TV, your #1 source for news.
The fire in the sky can really heat things up here in central Ohio. Air conditioners and fans have been running up bills as they run nonstop, trying to keep up with the 90-degree heat. But a company claims that some new technology is now available to cool your home in the summer and warm it in the winter without using electricity at all. But is it too good to be true? Meteorologist Kim Adams puts this space-age product to the test.
It's called the Radian Barrier, a reflective foil that promises to replace your need for an air conditioner. But does this sandwich wrap look-alike really work? NASA seems to think so. The spacesuits used to protect astronauts from extreme heat and cold are made from several layers of reflective foil. Now that same technology is being used to shield our homes from Ohio's out-of-this-world weather. Lee Brown is the owner of Advanced Energy in Grove City. He not only sells the Radiant Barrier, he swears by it. So we decided to visit a home that uses the product in the attic. Outside, it was 81 in the shade. Inside, with the windows closed and the ceiling fan on, it was 76. But I still wasn't convinced. So Lee pulled out the heat lamp.
Hold it right there, just like that. Hold it as long as you can.
Okay.
Pretty hot, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, now give me your other hand that you didn't use,
Okay.
and put it underneath there and tell me, what do you feel?
Very little heat at all.
Exactly.
Lee also put 2 thermometers into a wooden box with insulation. The side that had the Radiant Barrier over the insulation stayed at room temperature, but the side without it soared to 100 within 3 minutes. Ready to buy it? Tim Nicolini did for his detached garage.
What I've noticed is there's just a significant decrease in the temperature in the garage. Usually it's always cooler in the garage than it is outside, whereas beforehand it was always hotter in the garage.
Now, if it works, they say this Radiant Barrier can save you as much as 40 to 50% off your utility bills.
And it just goes right up in the attic.
It goes right up in the attic. The good thing is, if you move, you roll it up and you take it with you. I swear you do.
Don't leave it behind.
The customer sounded convinced. Yeah. It was cooler in the house. Now, it was 80 outside, only 76 in the house, so you're thinking, well, it's not that big of a difference. But this was the morning that we went there. It was in the early morning hours, and in the sun, it was probably about 85, 86 degrees. But that shot was in the shade. So it really did feel cooler in the house, I have to admit it.
And if NASA uses it, it must be, must be something good.
Passion for us is that imagine when you have a product that drops people's utility bills and makes them 10 degrees cooler in the summer and winter, and they have an ability to be more comfortable and they're not aware of it. So from a environmental standpoint, imagine when we have this product in every home and business in the United States, that really decreases our dependency on foreign oil and gas.
Shield yourself from the high cost of heating and cooling your home. Retrofit your home with Temper Shield today. You'll feel the difference, and so will your bank account. The 24/7 Temper Shield. Enjoy greater comfort with lower utility bills.